watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, and we have our experts today, Kunal Bothra as well as Mr. A.K. Prabhakar. Let's get going with the queries. It's already started flooding in, like Alex said before the break. And this one is coming in from Mahesh Gaikwad, and he wants a view on Manappuram Finance. He's not actually mentioned the time frame or whether he's already invested in this particular stock. But Mr. Prabhakar, what's your take on Manappuram Finance, given what is happening to the gold rates? Otherwise, do you think that these companies will benefit in the long run?
There's a huge change in gold finance companies. What has happened is, now banks are also competitive. So many banks have now gold finance, and Manappuram wants to grow slightly aggressive. So their NIMs have come down. So that is where there is a short-term problem. But long-term, I don't think it is going to be a pain point. But the margins are not going to be at the elevated level. Previously, they had NIMs almost at 15%. Now they have to settle for a lower NIMs. So that will have some corrective impact in the short term, but long term is very good for Manappuram, even Muthoot, which is there in gold finance.
Mr. Prabhakar, I kind of know what you're going to say about this, but I'm still going to ask you because Naresh has been asking for a few days. He got into Jayaprakash Power at levels of around 8, and he's wondering what to do at this stage. And he's bought 6,000 shares of this counter. What would you advise?
No, these companies, best is to exit. We need to buy quality stocks and hold. If you want reasonable return and you want to protect your capital, we need to settle in for a lower return and quality stock. That is where our money will be protected.
A very sound advice coming in from Mr. Prabhakar on how you should actually invest your money. This one is coming in from Harsh, and he's saying he's a value investor, but he wants to know whether he should switch his position from Colgate-Palmolive to from Colgate to HDFC Life. He's saying that he will hold on for a year. What's your take on this one, Kunal? Do you think it's the right strategy?
I think there has to be two changes over here. One, of course, that you can't sell Colgate for a stock like HDFC Life. Both of them are, of course, strong stocks. So, it's going to be a catch-22 situation because currently, Colgate is not doing pretty well in the entire FMCG stocks, and you're seeing some resemblance of a rally coming out into the insurance space stocks. But we don't know that over the next 6 months to 12 months, which one could probably outperform pretty well. But I believe that's one tweak which you will have to do. The second is don't look at either of these stocks, whether it's Colgate or HDFC Life, with a time horizon of 1 year. I think if you can extend the time horizon to at least 3 to 5 years, that's what I believe the real potential could get unleashed for both of these names. So they're at attractive prices. If possible, add both of them and switch your time frame or increase your time frame from 1 year to at least 2 to 3 years, if not more.
Okay. Rashmi is asking about a stock that is in focus today, Greaves Cotton. Kunal, on the screen is gaining about 8% right now. I'm trying to find out whether she has a long-term time horizon or not, but she's asking if she could enter the stock at this price.
Well, from a trading play, yes, you can look to enter the stock at 176.77, where it's currently trading. From a very short-term view, you can, I would say, you can look out for targets of 193 on Greaves Cotton, and trading stop losses would be around that 165 to 166 mark. So as now the stock keeps on going up higher, you'll have to trail the stop losses accordingly and come to a point where, assuming if the stock is at 185 plus, say over the next couple of days, then your trailing stop loss should be almost at the cost price, which should be at 176, 177 levels.
This one is coming in from Akash, and Akash is wishing us a happy Holi in advance. Happy Holi to you as well, Akash, and all the viewers who've tuned in from the entire team of ET Now, as well as from both of our experts. And Akash wants to know if it is the right time to buy National Fertilizers. What's your take on this one, Kunal? National Fert, do you think is the right time to buy this one?
I would suggest to look out for other names. I think if possible, then you can look at GSFC. That's a more better quality chart, at least from a near to medium term play, and I've seen the charts comparatively for many of these fertilizer stocks. So I think GSFC tends to have that slight edge amongst the other peers. If possible, I would suggest switch from National Fertilizers to GSFC.
Okay, this next one is coming in from Mr. Gopalakrishnan. And like everybody else, he's also wishing us a happy Holi. Guys, wish you all a very happy Holi. Thank you so much for your kind messages. And Mr. Gopalakrishnan wants to know about IDFC, which he's purchased, Kunal, at levels of 63. He's looking for a technical view for the medium term.
I think it's an excellent chart. IDFC First Bank, both of the charts are quite similar, to each other. IDFC is, I think in the last 1 year, it's gone through multiple tests at this 60 to 65 zone. So it's a matter of time when a stock tries to test again and again a strong psychological mark or a breakout point or resistance. It's a matter of time that the stock, gets that firepower to try and cross those resistances and start a fresh trend for itself. So I believe if time horizon is not a concern for you, then you should definitely look to hold IDFC.
Right. This one is coming in from Sumit. But before I take Sumit's, let me take Ravi Chandran's query. He's holding Berger Paints at the levels of around 750 rupees per share. Wants to know whether he should sell Berger Paints and invest in HDFC instead. Is it a good idea to make the switch? And he's saying he can invest in either of them for the next 15 months. I'll take this one to you, Mr. Prabhakar. What's your take? Do you think it's the right strategy to sell Berger Paints right now and go ahead and invest that money in HDFC?
That switch will be very difficult because paint companies, Berger is the number 2 paint companies. So I think when crude prices are cooling down and if it starts to correct more, then Berger Paint rally will be also equally faster. But HDFC Group as a whole has been seeing a lot of selling pressure, and it has come to a level where it is so attractive. If you take the valuation, it is around 2008 valuation level. So both are very attractive. So you can divide your risk, or being with Berger Paint also is good.
Okay. We've got a question coming in from, I'm losing the name here. Just a second. This is essentially, this is from Vivek. This is a question on which is the better consumption play, Mr. Prabhakar, and he's asking about Marico versus ITC. How would you describe this?
See, consistency-wise, Marico, growth has been very good, but ITC can surprise because if you see last quarter, ITC cigarette sales were up 13%, and India has started to export wheat. Almost 7.25 million tons is what we have exported, and the media reports are saying that 50% of that export is done by ITC. So there can be a surprise element in ITC, but Marico is something which is systematic, and their growth and their margins are easily predictable. But I think if you want to take some extra risk, ITC I think is likely to be a turnaround. And with the government not hiking cigarette tax for last 2 years, now smuggled cigarettes are slightly expensive than the local one. So I think ITC will be a surprise element there.
This one is coming in from Sumit, and he's saying that he's holding Wipro at the price. He's not mentioned the amount of shares that he's holding, but he's actually purchased Wipro at the price of around 600 rupees per share since the last 2 months. He's saying, what should I do now? He can hold on for the next 9 to 12 months only is what he's saying. What's your take on this one, Kunal? Wipro, 600 rupees per share is what Sumit has bought the stock at. Can hold only till up to a year.
Well, I think from a near-term perspective, 6 months to 12 months, the stock can see some decent upside from these levels. But I strongly believe that these IT stocks, they are in for a multi-year rally for themselves. Now they are going through a patch of correction, which could last for maybe another 2 months or 3 months into these names. So, what could be possible is that these stocks can, so for example, Wipro can come back towards say 630, 640, and from there start getting to a correction phase / consolidation. So there's bound to be a lot more chop and churn into these kind of trends rather than a V-shaped correction and then a V-shaped rally. We generally don't see such kind of price actions coming into these stocks. So it's going to be a bit more staggered. Rather than giving a target on Wipro, I believe that you should look out for trading more if you're specifically getting restricted towards the time frame of 9 months to 12 months.
Okay, I see a lot of queries that have come in before we started the query segment. Guys, please request you to post live. It becomes very difficult to scroll down and get your queries. But this next one is coming in from Rajni. Kunal, she's asking about MapmyIndia, which she bought at levels of 1595. Do you have enough data on this, and will you be able to help her with the short-term view?
You said MapmyIndia, right? Yeah, I
That's
think
right.
I think it's a good chart, MapmyIndia. So even though the data and the price history is of course very very restricted, but the last 2 months the stock has gone through a range bound kind of an action from I think 1350, 1340, where the stock made a low just about a month and a half out back. It's now trying to get into a recovery phase for itself. So I think it's a good chart shaping up pretty well, decent volumes enough, and I believe the trends shape up. Then you could see the stock even breaking past about the previous highs of 1800, 1850. So since the data is very limited, I won't be able to look at it more from a longer term play. But the short term charts indicate that it's a good stock where you should probably have it. Maybe a smaller exposure from your entire portfolio can be a good deal over here.
Right, this one is from Sagar, and this one is for you, Kunal, and it's on a general Nifty view. He wants a technical view on Nifty. He's saying that he's asking whether do you see this as a rebound or a start of a new trend, because FII have booked good profits from Indian market and now entering into Chinese markets and other markets. So what's your view coming in on Nifty? Do you see this as a rebound or a start of a new trend?
I think it's going to be always difficult to try and distinguish between a rebound as well as how a trend shape up. Now, the best way in which I typically look out is that whether if a downtrend lasts for say 2,000 points, and this time we had a correction on the index of I think more than 2,500, 600 points on the Nifty, and in that correction, whether the Nifty is able to scale past about the first important Fibonacci retracement, that's 61.8% retracement. Now, if you actually look at the 61.8% retracement, it coincides at 17,300 to 400 zone for the Nifty futures. So we are exactly at that first major resistance for the index on a 61.8% retracement. Now, over the next couple of days, assuming the Nifty crosses about this major hurdle point, then we could be looking at a full reversal on the indices and a start of a fresh uptrend. But I think the answer for that would probably lie up in how the market shape up for the next couple of days. So we are at an important resistance zone, but if we manage to cross that, then we can be at a cusp of a starting of a new trend for the indices.
Okay, this next question is coming in from Ankit, and he's asking about Syngene. Mr. Prabhakar is looking for a 2-year perspective. He's already acquired at levels of 600. What should he do?
See, this is a quality company, but it is very expensive. Biocon, Syngene, both the group companies are very expensive. But it is a unique business, so you can hold on to it. 2 years might be slightly less. Hold it for 3 to 5 years, then you can make better return.
All right, this next query that I have is coming in from Arun Krishnan. He's saying he's holding about 720 shares of RailTel at an average price of 128 rupees per share for the longer term. He's asking which is the best price to invest more and average on the share. Currently, it is trading at a 52-week low. RailTel is a fairly recently listed counter. Mr. Prabhakar, what's your take on RailTel? Do you think that it makes sense for Arun to go ahead and average at current levels and invest some more money in this?
See, this is a railway PSU company, so it is more of a dividend play rather than a growth play. And the railways have changed their rules. Today, if they have to bid also, you have to have a competitive bidding. So I think as a dividend play you can play it, but long-term growth, it becomes very difficult. We like in PSU space defense, where they are doing a better growth story than the railway space, because of the competition, and they have been opened up. So I think it will take at least 1-2 years for these stocks to stabilize and then rally.
Mr. Prabhakar, this next question is coming from Bobby Jacob. He's writing in from Coimbatore. He's asking about Walk Hard, and he's asking whether he should subscribe to the rights issue, which is currently open. It closes on the 22nd of March. What would you say on the fundamentals of this stock?
There have been a lot of corporate governance issue with Vocard. In pharma, the business, US business has not grown, so it is safer that you be with limited stock. Vocard is not a stock which is tracked by the market very consistently or closely. So it you are already holding it. So you apply to the rights issue. But whenever you get a very good opportunity, kindly exit and get into stocks like Divi's, Gland Pharma, Biocon, or Syngene, which are more value proposition. Even Sun Pharma can be looked at from a value proposition.
Let's kickstart with our rapid fire. And Kunal, the first one is coming to you. This one is from Bhandari. Mr. Bhandari wants a short-term view on CDSL on the charts.
It looks attractive. CDSL, I think, has been doing pretty well for itself. 1540 is where the stock is trading right now. Look out for targets of at least 1650 over the very near term.
Okay, Aarti's got a question on Chambal Fertilizers. Her cost price is 419 and she bought into Dwarike Sugar for the long term. But I'm going to ask about Chambal Fertilizer. Mr. Prabhakar, should she hold on to this counter?
Chambal is a very good company, and with the crisis which is happening in Russia and Ukraine, Chambal will be the major beneficiary.
That's from Rahul Sangvi, and he has 600 shares of Gujarat Gas, purchased at 636 rupees per share. Wants to know whether he can average now. Kunal?
I suggest to avoid the stock at current levels. I think it's going through a downward trend. I would suggest to avoid.
Okay, KNR Constructions in the name of the counter, bought at levels of 216. This is Sandeep. He's asking if he should add more. Mr. Prabhakar, what would you say?
It is one of the best in the construction space, and KNR is the best buy in construction.
Amit Chugh, and he's saying that he's bought Vedanta at the levels of 384 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should continue to hold on, or are you anticipating any downtick in this particular counter, Kunal?
I would suggest to hold on to Vedanta, and if possible that you can reduce some quantity over here and either shift towards Tata Steel or Jindal Steel.
Okay, we've got a question coming in from Ravi Raj, and he's asking about Railtel Corp, which he's bought at levels of 140. It has fallen from those levels, Mr. Prabhakar, but should he hold on?
Yeah, you can hold on, but these are slow moving stocks.
Joy Sheila Prema has Aarti Drugs 50 shares purchased at 700 rupees per share. For all, how long should I have to wait to get profits in this particular counter? Ready to wait for long term as well. Kunal, what's your take on Aarti Drugs?
Well, I know, tough one because stock has gone through consolidation over the last 1.5 year. My sense is that another 1 year is the max time frame which you can look at, and I believe the stock should get into a recovery phase for itself.
Since it's Holi, I'm going to take one last question, even though we're past the time. ITC, Kunal, is your call on ITC still the same as it was earlier? Anjali from Nashik is asking, I don't know when you made this call. March future 238. What would you suggest?
Absolutely, yes. I am very bullish on ITC and maintain that stance 265. But it's just that the time frame could be a bit more extended because of the low beta nature of the stock.
All right, and with that we come to the end of the rapid fire as well as the query segment. Thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Mr. Prabhakar, for joining us on the show, giving us your take on AC manufacturers as well as helping our viewers with their queries. And we will be back with